Welcome back everybody, this is Lars and we are playing some more KSB hard mode. So it's time to get our Kerbal up into orbit, and as you can see we are using the same launch stage that we usually use. Now this thing was really hard to control for some reason. I think I should have added some extra SAS stuff and generally just tested this a bit more, as you'll see. But the rocket is performing exceptionally well, and these two stages are enough to get us to the moon and deorbit us and get us pretty close to the surface. So I think this rocket, in all of it, I think it's almost 7k of delta V, and that is decent. So we go straight into the burn for the moon. We just eyeball it because, well, we are great. Yeah, so do get into some trouble getting this right, but just adjust, no problem. And we set up a note for later and just schedule the burn. Now I did make a big thing here just for life support storage, just to have some extra. I think the Kerbal can hold a lot, but it's good to have some extras. So let's get that into orbit around the moon as well. Yeah, there it is. Oh, come on, come on. So we just set up an alarm clock for this one as well. It's Kerbal alarm clock. I've been using it more and it's awesome. So this is the greenhouse. The capsule on top, or the thing on top, is the same for everything, but the thing is really nice because you can use water and waste and make food. Basically, you need some dirt as well. So we do the correction burn on the Kerbal. So we have three things here. We have the Kerbal, the life support storage, and the greenhouse. And that should be enough to get us some basic stuff up and running. So we do the correction. We think, well, it's good enough. It's actually better than than I scheduled. So, well, that's good. Just doing some minor tweaking, and yeah, we're done with that. So I think it's time to just get this last one ready. We have the SOI change alarms on the other ones, so we don't have to pay a lot of attention to them. Now we are kind of coming in a bit too inclined, so I kind of changed it a bit. Though I think I changed it a bit too much. It doesn't matter much. It's not that hard to change your inclination by a couple of degrees on the moon anyway. So, yeah. Time to circularize this thing. And as you can see, if you look at the nav ball right now, this thing was just bad. It's horrible to try to control. It slides off target, and by itself the SAS is useless on this. Look at that, just slides and slides and slides. I really had to struggle to keep it going, but we get into something close to a proper orbit. I do decide to kind of burn down a bit just to lower the apoaps and get the periaps up. I want to be around 50k, but it's not that important. Now we have the life support module. We will just circularize with that as well. And yeah, oh, come on. Yep, and that's good. That is very good. Now, this thing we want to tweak just a bit as well. It's not that important. I don't know why I've spent so much time doing this. And there is the greenhouse module, and this is our first mistake. I just forgot to keep track of it. So that's a bit aggressive, I think. Let's get it back up. It doesn't matter much. We have so much fuel in this thing, even though we have to use our descent stage a bit earlier than anticipated. It still has like 1,000 meters a second. So we are looking now at the Kerbal again. I have not yet decided at this point where we're going to set it up. So Let's look for some decent resources in semi-flat areas. You can see we have the substrate. That is actually pretty important. Like, getting water down there should be decent enough that we could like recycle water that we use from wastewater. But yeah, so we decided to go for the substrate instead of the already scarce water. And when we have substrate, we can actually grow stuff with added water and electricity or sunlight. So, change the inclination. It's only like 50 meters a second. It doesn't matter. We have plenty. We have almost enough to do a proper landing with this thing, with just the transfer stage. So, it is overpowered. I could probably have added more to each payload, but I'm not worried. So, let's burn ourselves down. And, oh yeah, we are now on the proper inclination. So I struggled actually a bit with this this payload, because getting it down there with a man, with a crew in it, it wasn't that easy. But we have our descent ready. So we should be able to just drop down to the surface and hope for the best. Now, just doing some small tweaking. Again, this took longer than I remember. It's been a couple of days. So, we are on our way to the surface. And, yeah. As I mentioned, we had some challenges doing this. And, first of all, this thing doesn't have SAS. Of course, the capsule in this thing does not have SAS. I did not add separate probe on it, so yeah. If I added a probe up top, we shouldn't be having these problems. But I didn't really figure that I would need it. I kind of just decided that I should be able to do it without it. Now we have a problem. As you can see, we are not able to actually change our rate of descent. And I haven't, of course, noticed this just yet. So I'm trying to, fix our landing site, trying to change the landing site, trying to get a bit closer to the crater, and just slow down. But if you look at the surface speed, this is where I start getting confused, because it's increasing even though I am burning retrograde. So I try to burn that way just to see if we can change something, and about now I decide that, well, this sucks. And but I hadn't actually figured it out why this was happening. I just thought that the engines were weaker than I first thought, and started burning early. And about now I understand what's wrong. It was not a good day. Look at this. And of course this is only a simulation, because we have to test the hardware first, right? Right, let's just say it's a simulation. I think that's probably, for the best. Now, we do have Kerbal attachment system on this thing. And, well, we're already on our descent path, but I figured that we should be able to salvage this mission. Now, we are going to move the engines. And if you watch Scott Manis, if you've been watching his Interstellar Quest series, you know how this is going to end, right? Yeah. So you can move the engines. That works. It works fine. Moving the engines. As you can see, I'm moving the engines. Well, when I'm done, just having trouble with the RCS pack. Just for some reason, I always end up just overestimating how much thrust I need, and just fling myself into space. So I'm gonna grab it, going to try to get it bit better aligned. It doesn't matter much, but as long as it's more or less equal on both sides, this thing should be controllable. It's hard enough to control as it is, but I think we should be fine. And as you can see, I added a reaction wheel, but I added the one without the SAS on it. That was mistake number 3 in this video. Yeah, and you should have seen the stuff I didn't, or that I left out of the video. So yeah, I think we're closer to 10 really, but officially this is this is number 3. So getting back in there and checking this out, well, as you're going to see really soon now, we aren't able to actually feed fuel into the engines. So the next time I should probably pack some fuel lines for this. It is a known weakness. So yeah, no, it's not good, and we are on a descent path. Luckily, we still have a bunch of fuel left in our transfer and descent stage. So just burn a bit and then start burning almost straight up. I think it's almost straight up, right? Oh, it's, yeah, almost straight up. Just to kind of adjust the orbit and try to get ourselves back into an orbit which we could at least rescue the guy from. I know the whole simulation thing is maybe a bit cowardly, but well, we'll live. Well, at least this guy will live. I think I might be able to salvage this mission by going out with a guy and just sending with or taking with me some extra gear. But we'll have to see that in the next episode. So yeah, until then.